Hello. It is a privilege to be with you here today. My name is Madeline Maynor, and I have been a student teacher in your child's fifth grade ELA classroom this semester. I'm currently working on getting my master's degree in education with a teaching certification. Now, throughout this semester, two ways I have been able to learn more about education and how I, as an educator, can best serve students is by conducting a parent survey for fifth grade student parents and hosting a collaborative discussion with the fifth grade teacher team. Today, I am going to discuss two main goals we can reach as a parent-educator team and three ways you can specifically help your child grow using very simple strategies at home. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing you might be asking is, what did the survey show? Well, before we get into that, let me just clarify that this survey is based on the responses of some of our fifth grade parents. So that is what this is based on. And out of the 5 questions discussing learning environments, time spent reading, your availability as a parent to help with homework, student mindset, and learning needs, the answer to the following questions stood out amongst the results. And that was, what learning needs do you see in your child at home that they could develop during our literacy practice period? And out of 4 answers, the results showed a 50% response for students to work on one-on-one learning discussions and active recall of their learning with their teacher. So based on that, I took that and I went into a collaboration meeting with my team, and we found an area aside from this that's related to the parent survey result. We found that a need amongst our students is comprehension and how that is affected by reading and vocabulary. So those two need areas that we have found in the survey and our discussion is having those one-on-one learning recall discussions and enhancing reading comprehension. After going through information, data, and collaborating with fellow teachers in our fifth grade classrooms, I noted a trend in how students struggle with comprehension and how that is also often rooted in vocabulary skills. So, what I'm going to lay out for you are ways I have researched that educators can support these needs and 3 ways you can support your child's learning as well. So, yes, every good lesson does have a discovery. And my discovery here was that even with these 2 needs, there's a connection. Recalling and practicing comprehension are 2 different areas. Recalling learning is helping a student remember what it is they've learned, and that could be with any subject area. And practicing comprehension focuses on reading skills, vocabulary techniques that they can use in science, social studies, and even math, as well as ELA.
Okay, so you might be asking yourself, she's going to give me 3 of my own strategies, but what are some things that educators might do in a case like this? I'm glad you asked. There are 4 research strategies that I have found that I think would work well in this case. Using context clue strategies is the first. Now, context clue strategies, or 2 examples to describe that, would be, for one, using what a student already knows or their prior knowledge to explain a new vocabulary word. Second, put that word in a sentence or find it in a sentence and use the words around the vocabulary word to explain it. Second, use visuals like infographics, charts, or something really fun for students as cartoon strips to help students retain information. That addresses recall. Third, have the students write about learning and check it for accuracy. Let them check their own work after they write about their learning. And that helps comprehension and recall from a lesson. Fourth, use student questioning. Have students ask themselves questions about learning or even log them in a chart that helps them show their thinking and show their evidence. Now you can use this with a text and log what a student is asking themselves and evidence that they find in the text.
Here's a glimpse into my classroom for a moment to kind of tell you about the first strategy you can use to help your child with comprehension at home. Now, this is a read, cover, remember, retell strategy. Really simple if you use a text that's interesting to your child or a text you want them to practice reading and recalling. So this is one of my favorite books that I have in my classroom for students that come in. And you can take a book like this, have the child read a portion of text, then their hand or your hand can cover the text. See if they can recall in their head with the text covered what they just read. If they can't, it's okay to take another look and then cover it again and have them practice recalling again. This helps improve student comprehension.
Teacher joke. Oddly specific for the odd number of tiers in the pyramid. Okay, I know that was bad, but we're going to build this up a little bit. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 refers to levels of words you can use with your child. Now, Tier 1 are everyday words, everyday vocabulary. Tier 2 is academic vocabulary words, as seen over here to the left. Now, that can be words like research, informative, cite. You could use those words in any of the students' 4 classes, science, social studies, math, or ELA. Now, Tier 3 words are a little more specific, like you wouldn't hear the word narrative in a social studies classroom. You would hear it in an ELA classroom. The word molecule you wouldn't hear in a math classroom, but you might hear it in a science classroom. Now, that's just some examples, but you can use these new vocabulary words that your student is bringing home, trying to understand, and help them form sentences around those vocabulary words. Help them study those words and put them in sentences that helps them comprehend what those vocabulary words mean when they put it into writing, when they put it into an answer to a question. So we learn by teaching as educators every single day. We're learning new strategies constantly, but so are the students. So how can we encourage memory and helping them recall information in their learning each day? Explaining, challenging, and reviewing. Now, I found this strategy in my research, but it wasn't necessarily talking about teachers. It was talking about students. How can students use this strategy? By reteaching. Be the student for your child. When they come home each day, you be the student and they can be the teacher. Let them teach you what they learned that day. Now, a good way to ensure they are getting the information is by communicating with your child's teacher and figuring out what it is they're supposed to be learning that week. Now, when your child explains it to you, challenge them to see how much they can remember. If they miss some things, review. So how much do they recall? It's a great way to meet the need identified in these surveys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I hope you found something useful you might be able to use with your child. Now, if you have any questions or you have a comment for me, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you want to learn anything else about some of the things I discussed, any of the strategies, please see the references in this list. I have left links specifically there for you to reference. Thank you so much.